It's not weird, Winifred. A lot of people dress up as their favorite book characters. No, Winifred, this is not my gothic punk phase. Look, Brando did it. Look, it's Gideon the Ninth. This is my favorite book of 2020. I even did fan art for it. Now I'm just trying to do a cosplay. You just wouldn't get it. Closing the door now.
Hello, gentle viewers, and welcome to another episode of Alistair Reviews It. And today I am going to be reviewing Gideon the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. This is the first book in the Locked Tomb trilogy, and so far my favorite book of 2020. Let's get into it. Joom, 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 joom. Brought up by unfriendly ossifying nuns, ancient retainers, and countless skeletons, Gideon is ready to abandon a life of servitude and an afterlife as a reanimated corpse. She packs up her sword, her shoes, and her dirty magazines, and prepares to launch her daring escape. But her childhood nemesis won't set her free without a service. Harrow Harknona Reverend Daughter of the Ninth House and Bone Witch Extraordinaire, has been summoned into action. The Emperor has invited the heirs to each of his loyal houses to a deadly trial of wits and skill. If Harrowhark succeeds, she will become an immortal, all-powerful servant of the resurrection. But no necromancer can ascend without their cavalier. Without Gideon's sword, Harrow will fail, and the Ninth House will die. Of course, some things are better left dead. This review will consist of setting, plot, and character. That will all be spoiler-free, followed by a spoilery reaction, and then a conclusion of this hopefully marvelous review. Gideon the Ninth is a science fiction and fantasy book set in a galaxy where there are 9 planets, each ruled by one of the necromantic houses. With each of these houses has a unique necromancy that they can use. I think Tamsyn Muir does an excellent job with world building and making this feel like a fantasy and a sci-fi. She does a really good job with the magic system, in which she can explain all of these different forms of necromancy, flesh magic, bone magic, spirit magic, in a way that I would never have expected. She basically brings necromancy as we know it, basically raising zombies from graveyards, and just takes it to enormous heights. She makes it into a magic system that appropriately rivals many others in the fantasy genre. And although advanced technology exists, there are spaceships and the like. Most of what happens within these 9 houses is all fueled by necromancy and the power of necromancy. The Emperor, the Undying God, is the most powerful necromancer. And his most powerful necromancers, also known as lictors, help to fight a war against an unknown enemy. So now we're getting into the plot. So the plot is basically that the Emperor needs more lictors. He needs more immortal, amazingly strong necromancers who are able to fight his war for him. So he invites each of the heirs to the 9 houses, to the first house, which is this Gothic style like castle on a planet surrounded by like the sea, where they can all go and test themselves and prove themselves to be worthy of becoming a lictor. However, all of these necromancers also bring along their cavaliers, because you can't have a necromancer without a cavalier. And basically, while the necromancer works their magic, a cavalier is basically their bodyguard, somebody who is trained in the deadly arts, trained in swordplay and different kinds of tactics in order to better help their necromancer. So now let's get into some of the characters. So this book follows Gideon the Ninth, and she is the Cavalier for the Ninth House. She is Harrow Nunnagesmus, a prodigy of a necromancer. She is her Cavalier. These two characters are incredibly interesting to watch interact. The book is told in first person through Gideon the Knight's viewpoint, and I feel like if it hadn't been told through her viewpoint, it would have been felt a lot more serious, a lot almost verging on depressing. But we see through Gideon all of her humor, all of basically her humorous defense mechanisms that she has built up internally, and her internal thoughts. So you have really serious stuff going on, but she kind of fudges it up a little bit in her mind because of how she kind of internalizes things. It's very interesting to look at, and a lot of the time, the more serious parts we actually get from her counterpart, Harrow Nonagesimus. So Harrow and Gideon probably don't have the best relationship, but they both grew up together, very close, and constant enemies the entire time. And now Gideon has to be the cavalier for Harrow, and we kind of see how their relationship, um, as cavalier and necromancer, develop throughout the series. This it also turns into, once they go to the first house, it turns into a lot more of a mystery, kind of a murder mystery, than you would have expected. Because I definitely did not expect that. I don't think it's a spoilery thing to say, but it's actually a very refreshing part of the book. I did not expect it. I was constantly bamboozled. Maybe it's because I just don't read a lot of mystery, but I might read more mystery now. But I did not expect this to be a sci-fi fantasy mystery action packed book. And somehow Tamsyn Muir does it. She does it, and she does it very, 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 very well. Before I go on to my spoiler thoughts, I want to talk a bit about this blurb on the front of the cover. So we have lesbian necromancers explore haunted Gothic palace in space. Decadent nobles vie to serve the deathless emperor. Skeletons by Charles Stross. And yes, that very accurately describes this book, but I feel like it doesn't do it justice. I think that Tamsyn Muir does such a good job at building characters that I would have never expected. I've never read a character like Gideon the Ninth. I've never read a character like Harrow Nonagesimus. These characters are completely original. And Gideon is a lesbian. She is LGBT, and it's not even a big deal. It's actually not even a thing. Like, I have read fantasy for so long, and as a member of the LGBTQ community, I have constantly wanted a main character to just be gay. And she is delightfully gay. Very delightfully gay, and I loved it. Um, I think it's refreshing. I think it's refreshing, and I think that it proves that you don't need to have just heterosexual people in every single book that you read. Like, it's funny because if I a lot of my favorite books, a lot of the main characters are heterosexual, which great, that's fine. I love it, love their relationships, but it's really nice to see a lesbian, a gay character just be gay, and I want to see that more in the fantasy genre. I want to see more, LGBTQ writers who write hard fantasy, who write hard sci-fi. Um, and if you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I am definitely open to reading those books. And if I end up loving them, then just spreading the love. So that's all I have. Best book of 2020 that I've read so far. Loved it. The sequel is equally good, though very surprising. And that is what I have for it. So I'm gonna be doing a couple spoiler thoughts. I'm gonna have a spoiler banner if you want to mute it, or if you want to go, that's fine. So, spoiler time. Oh my goodness, I was shocked at the end. I did not expect that to happen. I did not expect there to be such a sudden loss of a person. I feel like I'm kind of still making this a little less spoilery because I feel like some. But oh my goodness, hey, if you know, you know, and oof, I did not expect Electrohood to be like that, but damn, damn Gideon, whew, I really liked, I really liked Gideon, and I thought that they were gonna continue. I thought Tamsyn Muir was gonna continue with that viewpoint, but to go into the second one and going into the second one with a completely different person was a really challenging thing to do, and I think that she really pulled it off. If you've read the second one, this first book, I loved the cast of characters. I loved the murder mystery. I did not expect Dulcinea Septimus to actually be a lictor who was basically trying to, I don't know, destroy everything. We don't even really get into what the Emperor is really fighting against. It's all very focused. It's very narrowed through Gideon's eyes, and I loved it. The next book is definitely a lot more expanded, and you see a lot more that you didn't see with Gideon's blinders, and I think it's beautiful. It's completely beautiful. That's it for the spoiler talk. Anyways, I hope everybody's gonna have a very amazing, very spooky, awesome, and safe October. I'll see you guys next time. Hasta luego, gentle viewers. Bye.